lives. I'm curious to know how you feel when that happens. And then what do you do? What is the next action that you take?
Okay. All right, everyone, we're going to get started in a couple minutes, but now that that's fresh in my mind, I'm going to go ahead and take a minute.
We have one answer already up here. It's Donna says that after a lot of practice. I love, Donna, that you said that after a lot of practice, you are going, there's a slide in here that is going to resonate with you a great deal. You ask the rate and wait for an answer. I can't even tell you how much I love that you wait for the answer. That is a big one. Kristen has something that is, I think it's really common with my clients. Kristen has moments where she panics and then charges lower. Like, I mean, like, you know, the price that you want, dude. I so know this is actually, there's on a slide in here where it's like, you know, your price, someone asked you and immediately you cut it in half. Like it just, you're like, what do I do? I hear you. I feel you. We're going to talk about that and how to mitigate that too. Oh my God, Barbara, I love you. I love you so much. So Barbara says that her life coach training showed her that we need to sell ourselves on our prices. Oh my God, you wrote one of my slides. You totally wrote one of my slides. I'm super excited. Can't wait to share it. You are right on the money there. Mm-hmm. Lisa says that she feels uncomfortable. Yes, you and I talked about that at the thing. And by the way, I changed the name of this presentation based on you and I had a conversation at the table about how I felt about the name. And it took me up until this morning to realize the new name for it. I'm really excited. I can't wait to share it with you guys. It's a change in perspective that I think is like, I'm like, you know what? It's right up my alley. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. Eileen, I love you. Oh my God. I feel semi-comfortable and internally want to bring it down if they hesitate, but ultimately remind myself, this is a good one, that if this doesn't work, there is someone else out there who will. That is such an important one. This is not your last opportunity. Like, so that is a big one. We all feel like this is the last one. This is it. If I don't get this one, I'm going to starve.
Well, I think that's such a good point because every client isn't an ideal client. And I think that's something that we learn, you know, in our businesses. So as people are continuing to hop on, please, you know, take an opportunity to respond to the poll, the question that Minessa has posed to us. And please put your contact information into the chat. I have already started recording this because I think there's going to be great content throughout. And again, we want to be really respectful of people's time. I know it's early in the morning. I personally, I'm only on my second cup of coffee, which is like blasphemy for me, but I know it's going to be a long morning. So I wanted to just welcome everyone again. Lisa Dooley I'm the president of the network. As people are hopping on, I know people do have some time restrictions this morning. So we really want to be cognizant of that. So I'm going to go ahead and kick off the meeting as people join. They'll get to, again, that's why we're recording this. So anybody who doesn't make it on first thing will be able to always go back and listen to this. So again, you know, as everyone knows, one of the biggest tenets of the network, there are 4 of them, which is coaching, contacts, collaboration, and community. We very much feel that we are parts of all of our existing communities, you know, the Metro South, the South Shore, the Plymouth area. We have built really strong connections over the years, and that is in large part due to all of the amazing board members and members that have come before. Some of you have been parts of this organization for many, many years, and some of you are new to the organization. But again, community is one of the biggest, most important parts. Every quarter, we pick a charity to support. We support our quarterly charities in a number of ways, one of which is to give them an opportunity, like today, to come and to talk to our membership. We talk about you in our social media posts. We will, you know, have a segment in our quarterly newsletter. We do have one coming out next month. Really give you an opportunity to get in front of our membership to talk about that. So we are so excited this morning to welcome Julie and Sandy from our quarterly charity, We Do Care. So I'm just going to throw it over to them, Julie and Sandy, and tell us about you. Tell us how we can support you. And we're so excited that you're here this morning.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Good morning, everyone. Hello, I'm Julie Brennan.
Sandy.
Thanks, Sandy, for coming. So we just want to say thank you so much for choosing us as your quarterly charity. We Do Care we started as a tiny idea, and I'd say we're kind of still a small charity, but we've grown really fast. When I joke with my friends, I say I think we're now like a teenager. We're not a baby anymore. So this year in March, we had a very successful gala, and we raised a lot of money to continue our programming and to expand, which is exciting. So just to start off, for those of you that might not have heard of We Do Care was founded because there's a very vulnerable population in our society, in our whole country, that isn't being served. So before I get into that population, I do just want to say, I will be talking a little bit about loss and bereavement. So if there's anyone that has had a significant or a close loss in their life, I'm sorry if this might bring up a little bit of sadness and a little bit of that situation, but I do just want to honor that and hold space for you. Some of you, I hope you might have no idea about this cause because you haven't been touched by it. So we support women that were widowed at a very young age. So that means people that lost their partner or their spouse. Typically, it's women that are in their 30s, 40s, and early 50s. We do have some members that are in their 60s, and we don't tell people they can't come, if they're younger or older than what we typically serve. We were designed to help women that unexpectedly lost their spouse, like 40 years before the norm. Most of our participants and members have young children. So we also, our other members that we support are kids that lost a dad or kids that lost a mom. So the brief introduction about this cause is when I was 34 years old. So 12 years ago, I lost my partner, Johnny. He died in a car accident. It was actually very early in the morning, Valentine's Day, 2010. I was at home sleeping and my 3-year-old son was sleeping. And the police came to our door to let us know that our entire life changed. So what I can tell you is I was very fortunate because I was a full-time teacher in Boston. I have a master's degree and I had a good paying job. So I was able to keep our house going so that I didn't lose our house. Not all women in my situation are able to continue living where they live. If you can imagine, finances drastically change when you lose your spouse's salary. What people aren't aware of is that it isn't just for a couple months you need support, or like 6 months or a year. The research actually tells us that for 8 years, it takes 8 years for a woman to recover financially from the loss of her spouse or partner. So what our organization does is we really support the woman and the kids. We make sure that the woman's a strong foundation for her family. I'm very much about women empowerment. So I feel very privileged to be here with all of you because I imagine that everyone is in the same space, and it's really important for us to stand strong in our power. So what we do is we offer a monthly support group for the women. The kids come and they play games and they do art and they just have a lot of fun and they just get to be kids. I think it's really important. My over 20 years of teaching in elementary school, I think it's important for the kids to have a space where they know they're not the only one that lost a parent, and that they can come and connect with other kids that just understand and get it. And they don't feel like they're the only kid in their school or their town that lost their dad. For the women, I've been told that when they come to support group and they get to be with the other women, that it's like they get to take their mask off. For everyone else, they're trying to be fine. And when people ask them how they're okay, nobody really wants to know that they're doing crappy, or that they're really still sad, after 11 months or whatever the time frame may be. So they really just pretend like they're doing fine and they smile and they get through it and they put one foot in front of the other. But when they're together with us, they know that it's a safe space and they can just let it out, whatever they're dealing with. We teach them coping skills. We let them know that it's just really important that they honor their feelings and where they're at, that they can connect with other people. I think Sandy can talk to this, but we're really big on connection and supporting each other. I don't have all the answers, but I've learned a lot in 12 years. We connect them to grief counselors. We also have a lot of healers that I've gotten to know and our organization's gotten to know. So Reiki, reflexology, massage therapists, chiropractors, different people like that, because when you have this stress in your body from this traumatic loss, you really need to release it. So counseling is definitely a first step and a step for the first couple of years, but there's also other things that you can do to help release the trauma and the stress from your body. So we connect them to people that give them discounted rates and help them out like that. We are really known for fun events. As a charity, we do have 2 fundraisers. So we do a gala, we do a memorial walk that we just did last weekend for Father's Day weekend. We also do a golf tournament every summer. It's the last Friday of the summer. Yeah, I feel like it was important for me to answer this call because it was a population not being served, and I kept being put in touch with other women that were in the same situation. So we are a 6-year-old company. We are still pretty new. I think we've got a lot of traction and a lot of attention in the last 2 years, especially with COVID. Currently, we are serving 32 adult members and 65 children. We have 4 people that are trying to come in now that I have to get back to. And over the summer, we're going to be doing some workshops. We're going to do a 4-session small group support group for our new members and for the members that are 2 years and under from their loss, just so we can kind of connect them and give them what they need. Yeah, so I guess the other thing I would like to say is we have volunteer opportunities. We have a golf tournament coming up. We would love to see some of you ladies come and golf with us. It's the last Friday in August. I believe that's August 26th. Sandy's on the golf committee. We are looking for people that are able to help us get raffles, especially items like getaways. If anyone has a rental property, you know, that is in their family and they'd like to give us a week or a weekend so that we could put that on our silent auction, that would be awesome. I'm sure some of you powerhouse women are connected to different businesses and places. And if you have a service or a gift certificate that you'd like to donate, that would be awesome because we could use that for our online auction. We do have an online auction that usually brings in $3,500 for the golf tournament, and that gets a lot of traction. We have about 100 golfers, and then a lot of people that aren't going to come to the golf tournament, they check out our online auction and they share that, and it gets a lot of traction. So I want to introduce Sandy because Sandy's important. Not only is she a support group member that's really put a lot of time in for her journey in healing and helping her teenage son, Joseph, but she's also become a volunteer and a board member. So she believes in the cause. And I just want you guys to know Sandy because she's an amazing woman. So Sandy, go ahead.
Hi,
Thank
everyone.
you, guys.
Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to Julie. Yeah, I became part of We Do Care. It's an unfortunate thing, but it's fortunate. It's a good thing that I did. It's a group that you really don't want to be part of, but once you do, it becomes like family. And everyone who's in our group, I consider them family. It's been really tough actually for me. With grief, there's like it's easy to say like it's like a roller coaster. And to be very honest, very recently, my roller coaster was at the dip. I'm slowly coming up, but this is what happens. And that's why this group is important, is because when you get to that dip, you sometimes just want to stay there. And that's not for me. I'm not that type of person. Like I've never been like that. So to feel that it's tough, but you know, like I said, with We Do Care and all the warriors, you can reach out. And sometimes you don't want to, but you should. And I say that is because, you know, there have been times that, you know, I just was, like to say in the beginning, I was just on the couch. That's it. And We Do Care kind of helped me get off the couch, really get into like doing things, going and helping people. And that I've realized that that's kind of maybe not just now, but in most of my life, just helping people. That's kind of gonna help me very slowly and hopefully just stay in the roller coaster that just keeps going this way and not this way. So I'm very appreciative for Julie, like Julie and her family are more like my family. I love her kids like they're my nephews. And if there's anything that you can do, anything, even if it's just you want to just donate your time, or there's, I mean, we do have some girls in the group. Just anything that you can do would be so appreciated, because we know that it's going to help all of our kids, help us to say, okay, you know, we're going to be okay. And it's not always going to be in that dip, because you're going to slowly come up, and then hopefully you'll be able to stay steady. I'm not going to say that it's always going to be great, but I know for me, that's helped me a lot, is to know that I have a support group. That was really important, because they've helped me so much. I can't put into words how much.
Well, Sandy, thank you for sharing that, because I know that and Julie, we're so thrilled to be able to support, and thank you to Sheila for bringing We Do Care to the network, because one of the things that we think is so important is to be able to share our stories, right? And Sandy, so thank you, and Julie, for sharing your very personal stories with us. You've given us some great suggestions to volunteer for the golf tournament, to donate raffle items. And thank you. Having your contact information in the chat, and I know Lynn is also thrown into the chat a link to your organization. So we are here to support. So thank you for sharing that. I know a number of us are going to forward over some raffle items that can support you. So the gala in the spring, right? That was back in April. I know it was a huge success. Thank you partly to Lynn and all of your hard work, and the memorial walk, which you just had, the golf tournament, and volunteers. How can we volunteer?
Great question. So we need some volunteers for our kids group. We always need volunteers for our events. So just thinking about our events that we have annually. So we do, in the fall, we do a trunk or treat. So in October, we do a trunk or treat, which is awesome. So we could have somebody come and they could decorate their trunk and pass out candy. If you're a business and you want to give a promotional item, that would be awesome. We need volunteers to set up for our events. So in the fall, we do the trunk or treat. In December, we do a Christmas party, a holiday party, where the kids all get a gift from Santa. And that is huge, because we're honoring that although it's tough during the holidays, we can still have fun. And then we do, our gala is early March. Then we do the memorial walk right around Father's Day. And then the golf tournament in August. So we have like 4 to 5 events. So there's always ways to volunteer there. Sometimes, like I know the chair of my golf committee, they just need people to make calls. Sometimes it's calls to invite people to golf. So right now I know our call to action is we need people to call our previous golfers, our sponsors, and ask if they're willing to sponsor. And then people to get those raffle items and stuff. But definitely we would love some volunteers if there's people that want to volunteer for kids group or for any of our upcoming events. That would be helpful.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for allowing us to be part of your amazing mission. And I think, you know, one of the things Sandy said really resonates, I think, because sometimes the bravest thing we can do is to ask for help when we need it, right? We were raised as women to think we were so self-sufficient, and it's finding, I think, a group of like-minded people, community that supports us, especially when things are at their most challenging for ourselves and our family. So we thank you. Thank you for joining us this morning. Please stay on if you can. And we're just going to kind of move around the room. So to answer a couple questions, yes, we are at live recording this morning. So once I get this converted and up to YouTube, you will all receive the link for this morning's recording, also with the saved chat. And again, I have to have sticky notes that remind me to do both of those things. So I'm recording, so I'm halfway there, and I will save the chat and attach that. So you will have that so that you can see everyone who you're going to hear from right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go around the horn. I have voice, so I say things like that. And we're going to kind of go around as I see you in the Brady Bunch screen and kind of call on people. So I will start because I am used to talking. So my name again is Lisa Dooley. For those of you who don't know me, I'm so excited to see so many faces on the call this morning. This is amazing. As president of the network, it has been an amazing opportunity for me to do more and to give back. But I am only here, and this network is only successful due to the strength and all of the hard work that all of the board members do. We have Allison on the call, who is our previous president, and she's a tiny person, but these have been big shoes to fill. So Allison has done so much to set the network up for continued success. Donna is our former vice president. Lynn is our current vice president. Sheila is our director of charity. Deb is our amazing director of marketing. And so it is with all of your support that these things happen, because we are an all volunteer organization. So when I'm not doing this, which is a lot, I am a professional organizer. And what I help my clients do is find more space, more time, and more joy in their lives. So if you know someone who needs any of those things, raise your hand and send them to me. So my contact information also is in the chat. So I'm going to go around the horn the way I see you in my Brady Bunch screen. And if you're too young to know what that is, welcome this morning. So Kristen, I see you to my left. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me. This is actually my first experience on here. So thank you for letting me jump in and join you. Finally, I could fit it into my schedule. The early mornings work best for me because I get my kids out the door and I can jump on. So this worked out perfect for me this morning. So I'm Kristen Brooks. I live in Plymouth. I'm married and I have 3 sons who are 14, 17, and 19. I am a travel professional. I have been in the industry for 11 years. I worked as an independent consultant for 9 years, and most recently, March of 2020, opened my own travel agency. Obviously, the timing was not planned since COVID pretty much aligned with me signing paper on my agency. So, but I've taken the time to do some further education, certify myself, and join some great groups. So I'm happy to be here this morning.
Thank you. Thank you, Kristen. We're excited to have you. Just quickly before everyone hops off, Deb, can I bother you to do the photo, which you know I struggle with. So if everybody can turn their cameras on. I know Iris, you're on your iPhone, but if everybody can turn their cameras on for just a moment, and we will have the amazing Deb go ahead and take our group photo.
And look at your camera, not the faces, okay? Because that just makes a better screenshot. Okay, here we go. All right, I will check that. I'm not at my normal desk. I'm actually outside, so nothing is as it normally is.
That's okay.
You're in a great place. I'm just saying, I love it.
We thought that was virtual, so nice. Good for you, Deb.
No. All right, thanks. That works.
Thank you. All right, super. Lynn, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Lynn Feingold, virtual assistant. I'm thrilled to see so many people here this morning. This is awesome. What a powerhouse group. I work with We Do Care, and you know, I just absolutely fell in love with their mission and their spirit the minute I met them at a networking event, and knew I had to help. So I help, you know, small businesses and entrepreneurs with the administrative burden that's getting in their way of moving ahead. So if you've got a log jam that's just preventing you from making progress in your business, I'd love to talk with you about it and see if I can help. I have a wide range of experience and a wide range of services that I offer as a virtual assistant. I'm sometimes more of a business manager and accountability partner than a virtual assistant. So it's just how it is. Lynn Feingold, virtual assistant, boston.com. Please look me up. I'd love to have a one-on-one. Thanks.
Thank you, Lynn. Donna, good morning. You are on mute, my friend.
My name is Donna M. Schweiler. I'm an independent beauty consultant with Mary Kay. I've been with Mary Kay for 10 years. I do personal enrichment enhancement. Any questions you have about your skin, for any person in your family, I'm here for you. And one of the things the company and I do is we give back to the community. So I'm willing to help out even with anybody else besides We Do Care, for events that might be coming up for a basket or anything like that. I am the liaison to the Metro South Boston Chamber of Commerce. And I try to make a presence there as much as possible. I give Lisa all the info that's going on. Some months it's slower, but this month happened to be a busy month. Some things, just because of where you guys live, might be difficult to get to, but I live down the street from most of their events, so it works out really well. So if there's anything special, I bring it back to you guys.
Thank you, Donna. Yeah, so the network has reciprocal partnerships with the Metro South, the South Shore Chamber, and the Plymouth Area Chamber, and that's really an opportunity. So you will see events posted on our Facebook page that really are their events, but we think, you know, all boats rise in the tide. You know, there's a lot of great stuff that's going on out there, and you know, with, as Donna mentioned, you know, it might not all be super convenient for you, but some of the stuff is still hybrid and virtual. So please do take a look at those events. Many of them are at no cost, and if you can attend, please do, because we think that's a great, you know, sort of value add for the membership. Allison, good morning.
I'm Allison Guido from Almar Building and Remodeling. We're a residential remodeling company on the South Shore. We've been in business for 63 years, and we do everything from windows and doors to kitchens, whole house remodels, and custom new builds. So that's me.
Thank you, Allison. Jojo, good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Can I share the screen with you folks?
Yes, please. So do I have to allow you to?
Yes, you need to allow me. I'm a full service video strategist. I will help you to write your 2-minute sales pitch, film it remotely or in person, and edit it, custom design edit, and also to distribute it and market it over 39 different ways. And let me show you a quick sample. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Rocky Pilgrim, owner and founder of Design Your Chaos, LLC. I empower people to take back control and design the life that they want, regardless of the chaos that's going on around them. An issue that we all face is just not having enough time. Running from activity to activity, it seems like we never have enough quality time to make a healthy meal or spend enough time with our spouse or our kids. It seems that the hamster wheel just keeps turning and the chaos is spinning. How do we control that dynamic? How can we stop this inertia and get ahead of it? This is where I come in. I can.
Okay, so I just wanted to give you a sample, but that's what I do. That's my jam. Thank you.
Thank you, Jojo. A picture's worth 1,000 words. So thank you. Thank you for that. Lynn, good morning. Lynn is calling in from Father Bill's Mainspring. Father Bill's is our third quarter charity. So we're so thrilled that you could join us this morning, and we'll be excited to hear from you in depth at our next quarterly meeting. But please tell us about you.
Good morning. Thank you so much. It's great to be here. So I work at Father Bill's in Mainspring in our development office. And for those of you who are not familiar with us, we're a nonprofit organization with a mission to end and prevent homelessness in Southern Massachusetts. We do that by providing an array of services, including emergency shelter, wraparound services, case management services. And last year we were able to support nearly 5,000 individuals. We helped 215 families avoid shelter. We moved 227 households from shelter and streets to housing. And so we're doing a lot of work from Quincy all the way down to Wareham, and even into like the Massachusetts, New Bedford area with some of our services. I look forward to sharing more with you it's the September meeting. Is that right, Lisa?
That's right, yes.
So thank you for inviting us to your meeting today, and also for your support. And I put my contact information in the chat. So if anyone has any questions or knows anyone who needs services, please feel free to reach out to us.
Thank you, Lynn. We're so excited to have you. Deb, good morning.
Make sure you can hear me. Good morning, everybody. Deb Gaishel, I'm the owner and creative director of Message Artist Creative Group, which is a concierge branding and content management, content creation agency, serving basically small, mid-sized businesses and nonprofits, both locally and throughout the United States. And yeah, like I said, and I'm outside today. We have our cleaners are here first thing in the morning, and yeah, so I'm outside. It's not bad.
Thank you, Deb. Deb is responsible for all of those amazing, working in conjunction with Lynn, all those amazing posts that you're seeing, and all that other great content. So Deb, thank you for everything that you're doing. Kathy, good morning. Nice to see you. Kathy Ballerini. Good morning.
Good morning. How is everyone today? Sorry about that. Just having a little bit of technical difficulty. Oops, sorry. I was also on a business meeting, but so I'm Kathy Ballerini from KMB Travel. I am a full service travel agency. I'm actually in the process of rebranding my company right now, but I found this network to be fantastic. I actually just reached out to Lynn Feingold to help me with some social media. I'm excited to be here, and I just want everybody to know, the importance of using a travel advisor for traveling now, because the landscape has changed so much. And I know you could sometimes might find like this awesome deal on those .coms and whatnot, but you know what? We're here to back you up. We're going to make those phone calls for you at 2 o'clock in the morning when, suddenly you got that notification that your flight was canceled, or you check in at the hotel and they say that they can't find that reservation. So, our services are worth their weight in gold. The topic, the first question was, about what's your worth. They have out there a lot about, that travel advisors offer their services for free, which it's true, but, I don't think people understand the impact of, the time that it takes to research your vacation. We're not just going on to the internet and, Googling, Aruba or Jamaica or whatnot. We are actually reaching out to our travel vendors and researching their, everything about their location and all the different offerings that are there for you to make sure it's not just a vacation, but it's an absolute wonderful experience. So again, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. And I am actually in the process of becoming an official member of this network. So it's just one of the best networks I have found so far. And yeah, so feel free to reach out to me anytime. So thanks again.
Thank you, Kathy. Welcome. Always nice to see. You're right. We don't know what we don't know. And I think sometimes that's a short-sighted thing. So it's always great to have all kinds of professionals we can call upon. Lauren, good morning. Lauren Zaremba. Here you are.
There. Good morning, all.
Good
I'm
morning.
Lauren Zaremba. I work with Lynn at Father Bill's and Mainspring, so I'm just joining her here on the call. So appreciative of you all for having us and for being your charity for next quarter. Nice to meet you all. I'm new with the organization, so I'm spending a lot of time right now meeting all of our supporters and our partners. Obviously, they're so critical to Father Bill's mission. So it's great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. Nice to see you. Sandy, would you like to say something else this morning? So nice to see you.
Sure. Yeah, so with We Do Care, I just want to say thank you to all of you. It's amazing for me as a woman to see like a lot of strong women. To be, you have all your businesses and you have everything else that you're doing in life, and I think that's important. I just want to say that right off the bat. So keep doing what you're doing. I just want to reiterate I think for me, the volunteerism is huge. Anything that anyone can do would be amazing. I know like sometimes I work one-on-one with Lynn. So she's amazing. That's why I said it, like all of you are just great. And I appreciate a lot of you just listened to my story this morning because, with me recently, it was the Father's Day, my birthday, my mom's birthday, different events happening in my son's life. And it was tough. So I appreciate a lot of you just listening to it because a lot of times I think that's what it is. We just, our loved one was someone they were here. And sometimes we just want to talk about them. So I appreciate everyone just listening. So thank you so much. Probably going to have to hop off in a little bit because I'm working from home. So I have a meeting in a little bit. So, but thank you so much, everyone, for listening.
Thank you, Sandy. And you will also get the link once I get this up and posted on Facebook. So thank you again. Barb, nice to see you.
Hi there. This is my first meeting. I'm pretty new to South Shore Women's Business Network. So thank you, Lynn. It was great chatting with you the other day on our Get to Know Each Other call. So I'm a life coach, general life coach. I did offer several hours of free coaching, but I did state that I'm not a grief specialist. So I'm the person that they would have to see afterwards. So I just wanted to, represent my abilities clearly for that group. So yes, I just help empower clients managing anxiety, managing weight. I do love the age group, and I'm kind of toying with changing my niche a little bit, like from 15 to 25. There's so much anxiety, and I would love to be a resource in a school or a college because I know those waiting lists are just massively long. And again, a life coach, not a therapist, but we help just be another voice other than a parent to talk to and just, help them see what they want to create and figure out a way to do so. So everything is possible, and we just have to decide what we want.
Thank you. That's a great message. I think the way it was explained to me, which I thought was really helpful, is therapy is about the past and coaching is about the future, right? And I think it's such a great opportunity to know that there are, again, other professionals out there who are here to support us. Katie Starr, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for having me. I'm really glad that I could join you guys today. I am a real estate agent with Jack Conway Real Estate, based out of Plymouth, but I serve all up and down the South Shore. I've actually, sold homes as far north as Holbrook and Randolph, and have clients currently looking, like Canton and Stoughton. So I'm not just down in Plymouth. I can pretty much go anywhere my car can take me, although the gas prices, no, that's another story. Anyway, I just wanted to say that I'm so glad that We Do Care was here today. That was, it's just such a wonderful organization to hear about, and I'm really glad that was brought forward and put in front of all of us as something that's out there, and it's a scary thing that I think any of us would worry about having to go through. So I appreciate your story, Sandy, and your transparency with what you're going through. And bringing it back to real estate just a little bit, the market is really volatile right now. The rates have been on a roller coaster for the last couple of weeks. And everybody that I'm working with, buyers and sellers for that matter, are actually in a little bit of panic, might be too strong of a word, but they're in a little bit of, they want to press pause. My buyers have wanted to press pause because they don't know. Last week I had a buyer that was putting an offer in, ready to put an offer in on Thursday. We were discussing it on Tuesday and Wednesday. She woke up Thursday morning to a significant rate increase and realized she could no longer afford the house that she wanted to put an offer in. And that really shook her. And it shook some of my other buyers just in different ways, even though they weren't really right on the precipice of putting in an offer. But it's making everybody a little bit nervous right now. So we've known that these rate increases were coming. But it's that knowing it and having to deal with it are two different things. And sellers are starting to experience some volatility as well. So I would say, I don't even want to give a percentage, but a large number of homes. Every morning I wake up and I look at the listings that are within my search range, and I can't tell you how many homes are experiencing what we call a price break. So they're reducing their prices because nobody's interested in the house at the current price. It might be a bunch of various other reasons, condition or something like that. But in general, what's happening is people can't afford as much home as they were able to afford as recently as a month or two ago. So because the rates are going up. So we're starting to see that change now. And it's not a reason to panic. If you know somebody that's is looking to buy or needs to sell, it all can be done. But we have to look at it as an agent now. I have to look at it with a slightly different angle, and we have to not be as aggressive on pricing because the market is changing. So I'd be happy to help anybody that you know talk about that and walk through those steps and have them reach out to me. Katie Starr with Jack Conway.
Thank you, Katie. I think that goes back to our theme this morning is things change, and it is important to have professionals. We don't have to do everything ourselves. As entrepreneurs, we think we have to do everything ourselves, but Katie's example is perfect. There are people that know way better than we do what's going on, so we should avail ourselves of their expertise. So thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
The other Katie Carney, good morning.
Okay, I had to unmute because of my lovely dogs that have entertained probably when I didn't know I wasn't on mute. But I apologize. I have a sinus infection, so my face is all puffy. But my name is Katie Kearney, and I actually live in Plymouth. And I have a magazine. I'm actually a publisher for a magazine called Pembroke Neighbors. I'm looking for any businesses that would like to sponsor in the magazine, or any nonprofits or stories like Father Bill's. I would love to talk to you guys. That would be a wonderful story to go in this magazine, to have people for awareness so that people can understand exactly what you guys do. So I also am forming a nonprofit in Plymouth for a teenage clothing drive, which we just did our first drive this past week, and it was wonderful. And it was so wonderful, and I'm even more wonderful that it's over. It was a lot of work. But we helped a lot of families, and I have approximately 6 boxes of hangers. If anybody could use hangers, we really don't want to throw these in the dumpster. So if anybody could use some hangers, or you know anybody that could use them, they're from Kohl's and BJ's, and they're wonderful. But I need to get out of the storage unit that has been so wonderful in housing us. So again, Katie Kearney, Teen Ties, Clothing Drive, and Pembroke Neighbors. If anyone has any businesses or anything that would like to sponsor with me, if you live in Plymouth, you get America's Hometown. If you live in Kingston, you get Kingston Living, Duxbury Neighbors. So I work on a wonderful team, and we have magazines popping up all over the place, and I'm hoping to be in print by September. So thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Michelle, good morning.
Oh, good morning. So happy to be here. And I'm going to be joining this organization soon. This is my second meeting, so it's really been wonderful. Just had a lot going on with life, but happy to be here. And my name's Michelle Levangie, and I own Sacred Holistic Healing. I've been practicing holistic healing for 30 years as a nurse and a soul coach. And for the past 10 years, I've really been passionate about flower essences, which are homeopathic remedies to support emotional and spiritual growth. So I do sound healing, Reiki, reflexology, soul coaching. So it's really, I kind of meet the person wherever they're at to empower them and help them live their best life, essentially. And, I would love people to connect if you have resources, because I'm always kind of, it's not just me it's a community. So a lot of people come to me with grief. I think it's probably because I'm a nurse. And so, there's a lot of, I could use more resources to refer people to. So please reach out. It's sacredholistichealing.net. And I also am more than happy always to give a gift basket for a charity event donation. And so thank you. And it's been wonderful hearing everyone, such amazing, strong women. And I'm just so happy to be here. So thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. We're so happy to have you. I am all about an essential oil and a flower essence. So I'm right with it. I'm right there with you. Live it. That is my perfect day. Iris, good morning. I know you're calling in on your phone.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, there you are.
Oh, I thought it wasn't going to work. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. Yes.
My name is Iris LaPerry. I am a mortgage loan officer for Style Mortgage. And my job it is to prepare, inform, and get my clients the best rate possible, either to buy the first or the second or vacation home, also to refinance. Like Katie said, the time is difficult. The rates are really high, but it's still a way to either you can get an adjustable rate, or instead of 30 years, 20 years, 15 years, they all depend on, the person that is buying or refinancing, but it's still a way. So anyway, it's better buying than renting always. So that's what I do. That's my message.
Thank you, Iris. Yeah, so again, as Katie said, and Katie and Iris are saying, things are changing. So it's always a good conversation to have with a good professional. So Eileen, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Give me 1 second. Hi. Sorry about my appearance. I'm actually in my basement. This is the best with doing my morning self-care routine. So that's what I'm doing this morning. Anyway, I am a bookkeeping professional. I work with small businesses all over the place. Everything I do is online. I work with QuickBooks Online primarily. So I love working with small businesses to help track their finances, where it's coming, where it's going, take that kind of thing off your plate. Mostly, I have all sorts of industries, but as you can see from my contact information earlier in the chat, I am looking to focus a little bit on the pet care industry. So I know a lot of folks have little furry babies at home, which means you have a veterinarian. You may have a dog walker or a cat sitter or a groomer. So those are going to be great contacts for me, or even a shelter that you work with. I know they're mostly volunteer, but they're also great contacts just to have in my network. So I'd love to talk to any of those if they're looking for somebody. Also, just a quick tip for those of you who travel a lot in your business, whether agent, driving around to houses or going to your clients' houses, the IRS mileage rate is actually increasing July 1st. So excuse me, keep track of your mileage. It's going up to 62.5 cents per mile. It's 4-cent increase for the second half of the year. So that is huge. I don't think the IRS has ever gone up that much. So be careful. Make sure you check your mileage. That's it right off on your expenses. So that's my accounting tip for the day.
Thank you, Eileen. Well, that was, if for nothing else, I learned something this morning. So thank you for that. Sheila, good morning.
Morning, taking notes here. Great to see everyone. And again, I'm the charity coordinator of the group, first off, and I have been, first time I met I was introduced to this group was at Cravings in Kingston, and I highly recommend if anyone can get there, meeting for a focus chat, because it's like 6 to 8, 10 of us, something like that. It's a smaller group. I love this too, but this might have overwhelmed me being kind of timid. Anyways, I've over the past few years, all I've received is support, and we do the same. Barbara Home Inspections. We're on the South Shore. Home inspection services. We just like to be that go-to where, you know, you found your dream home, you found your treasure, and we just want to make it yours in that way. Not to panic you, not to say walk away. You know, we're in it as let's walk you through this. Let's get you what you want, and then you decide, is it really what you want? We're not on that end. So yes, on the South Shore, in Weymouth, serving Massachusetts, and other than the newer people, we've connected with pretty much everyone here. So that's just how it goes. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila. Appreciate what you're doing. Krista, good morning.
Good morning. I'm on the road at the moment. I'm Krista Manno with KR Architecture and Interiors, and I design both commercial and residential projects. So if you're looking for an addition for your house, or whether you're looking to renovate your office, I do it all. Mostly recently, I've been getting a lot of my contacts through contractors. So if you know contractors on the South Shore that are looking for an architect or are not completely happy with the architect that they have, let me know and send them my way. Thanks.
Thank you. And Krista, I know also does work if you are looking in your forever home or need some adaptive spaces. I know Krista also has some great experience with that. So thank you all. We're so thrilled to have everyone here this morning. Minessa was, okay, so I'll just tell you I'm gonna give you my 30-second Minessa story. Our Facebook page for the network had been in existence for 100 years, but it was sort of this, the term is orphan. It was a Facebook orphan. And I literally threw this out onto Facebook and I said, who can help me with this? We didn't know how to do this. And this wonderful person who was not a member of the network, but was obviously in the group, came forward and said, I'm going to help you. And literally in 30 seconds, she had figured out something that we had struggled with literally for years to kind of figure out. And so I was so excited to meet Minessa. She and I recently got together and had what was supposed to be a quick coffee turned into a 2-hour breakfast, because that's the way it goes sometimes. Because when you find your people, you know your people. And I'm so thrilled to have Minessa here. And I asked her to come and speak with us this morning because as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, one of the biggest challenges is standing in my worth, right? My coaches out there, right? You know how hard this is sometimes, we know how to do what we do. Sometimes, Deb, we know how to talk about it, Jojo, and sometimes we know how to project it out there, but we don't always know how to stand in our own power and get what we deserve. And partly it's conditioning, partly it's a lot of other things. But I am so thrilled to have Minessa here this morning. She's going to give us some tips. She's already asked us what we struggle with. So Minessa, take it away. Do we need to screen share? I think I've enabled that, so I think we're all good.
All righty, Udalali, it's time for, if only I could find my screen that I'm actually going to be trying to share, that would be super helpful. Okay, it's time to share. All righty. Whoa. Okay, that was awkward. Didn't expect that to happen. So that was kind of anticlimactic. I shared the screen and then my Chrome crashed. And it's like, it's not sharing because the window crashed. All right, give me a sec. I opened up the window again.
No worries. Take your time.
So let's see. All righty. Okay, let's try this one more time. At the very worst, I can do it without sharing a screen. There we go. Okay. All righty. Is everybody able to see my screen?
We see you. Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
fabulous. So I decided to change the title. When Lisa and I first started talking, we were going to do charge what you're worth. But the reason why I didn't like it is because I don't like this idea that I'm worth something. I'm worth a dollar amount. Like that idea bothers me just in general. And so as I was putting this together, it wasn't until I woke up this morning that I realized what I was going to title this. So I changed it this morning to Charge What You Want. And we're going to move beyond charging what you're worth. We're going to talk about charging what you want, because really that's all that matters. My name is Minessa Konecky. I am a success coach. I am an energy healer and an empath. I come at business from that framework. I work with business owners who have unique life circumstances, so chronically ill, neurodivergent, empaths, living in the woo world, whatever it is. I work with those business owners to help them make money within their framework instead of them trying to fit into the boxes that other people have decided they need to fit into. My general life philosophy is that I reject any idea that we're doing this just because this is the way it's always been done. I feel like if that's the reason why we're doing something, then we need to really reflect upon what value we're actually getting out of it. And that is why this topic is so dear to me, because I think that the reason why a lot of us struggle with charging what we're worth or charging what we want, see, I'm correcting myself now, charging what we want is, I mean, it's literally a new idea since this morning, so it's a baby. So charging what we want is because of these frameworks that we bring with us. So today's conversation is going to be a little bit different than what you would usually expect in terms of charging what you want, because we're going to talk about where some of these ideas come from and how they manifest in the moment where someone asks you what it is that you charge. I would be curious to know in the chat, actually, as we're talking, is what about this topic appeals to you in general? So like when somebody says, oh, we're doing a topic on charging what you're worth, immediately you got excited. You're like, I want to do this. What was it about this topic that got you excited? Was it that you felt like you would learn something, a tactic that you could like literally write down and be like, this is what I'm going to do? Was it that you felt like there would be some psychological answer that you would have that you're like, okay, now I get it now. I know what to do next. Like, what was it that you were wanting? And I want you to reflect upon that so that as we're going through the next few slides, when we get to those slides that will answer those questions, you'll know that you found what you're looking for. So I want to set that intention right at the beginning so that when it's there, the universe is going to kind of give you that connection and be like, this is what's going to help you right now. Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to undercharging is that over the last year, and this is why I sort of got a real bone on this one, is that I've been underquoted so many times in this last several years. But in the last year alone, it's become really prevalent where people that I know have given me value that changed my entire life, transformed how I feel, are charging pennies. I have an intimacy coach. She's a BDSM coach. She teaches how to enjoy your sex life again. And her coaching prices are $50 an hour. This woman transformed my entire relationship with my husband. And she charges $50 an hour. And she thinks that that's what she's worth. I had a website designer who quoted me $3,000 for this white glove service, like beyond white glove service, that I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? This is going to earn me hundreds of thousands of dollars over the next several years. And you're charging $3,000 with the amount of service that you're giving me. It's amounting to maybe $10 an hour, like maybe that, but you get stars in your eyes about what the number is without realizing the amount of effort that's going in, and you're not actually making more money than you would if you work, at Target. There's boutique owners who give so much and a lot of business owners do this. They give away so much product for free that they are not coming out ahead at the end, and they never feel like they're making any money because their value, their personal internal self-worth is tied into every yes that someone gives them. And if you're tying your internal self-worth to the yes that someone gives you when you sell, then you will literally sell a product for $0 because it's no longer about the money you're making. It's about the yes that you're getting. You're looking for that hit, that scratching that itch. So these are all the things that come up, and they come up in a variety of different industries or a variety of different spaces. In all of the comments that we got earlier, these things are reflected. Okay. So what we're going to cover today is going to be one, why do we undercharge? There are two specific areas where that comes in. One is our internal programming, and the other is our societal pressures that prevent us from taking the actions that would actually allow us to feel comfortable. So the problem that we have is not that you don't know what to charge. The problem that you have is not that you haven't decided or done, looked at the charging or haven't written it down and decided it. The problem is that you have infrastructure built within you that when that moment comes to actually say the price, it is working against you. So in order for your actual hard work that you've already done to have to bear fruit, we need to address some of these internal issues. Okay. So Oh, right. So we're going to go over those. Then we're going to talk about the specific roadblocks. And then I'm going to leave you with some concrete steps and some resources, a lot of whom are in this group, that you can run with, and they can help you move forward through some of these issues. So based off of what we talk about now, you'll know which one is your biggest issue. And then I'll tell you which way to go. Okay. So when we talk about internal programming, the first thing to keep in mind about business is that business problems are never business problems. They're always people problems, because you are a person before you are a business owner. And one of the reasons why we struggle so much with that idea is because from our earliest childhood, we were told that business and professional and business and work needed to be kept separate. And if you approach business from that basic ideology that business and work are separate, then you're never going to realize that your entire internal personhood that exists, it brings that story into business, and you're not going to see how those two things are related. So when you think about yourself, especially as a woman, and if you grew up as a little girl, okay, so even if you grew up as a little boy and are now a woman, right, or now a woman, you still had those messages. So it's important that it doesn't matter how you grew up, you still got those messages. That's really important to recognize that. And I could definitely have said that better. But we're working on it. But the first question is what were those messages that you got as a kid, right? As a little girl, your role was to be seen, not heard. Little girls are sugar and spice and all the things nice. What is the role that you're supposed to play? So now I grew up in Pakistan, but so that puts me one generation earlier than you'd think. So in terms of how I grew up, put me in like people who are in their 50s, just because of the philosophies and ideas, right? So what are some of those philosophies and ideas that a lot of us and our parents brought with us, which is a lot of times it was, why do you go to college? You don't go to college to get a degree. You go to college to find a husband. And as soon as you find your husband, you're out of there, right? That's where our worth started. We've been trying to come back from these belief systems for a very, very long time. There is the idea that as women, and we are always supposed to be aware of what other people need, right? So even when you're sitting in your house, as long as someone else is in the house, you are constantly keeping this out does somebody need something, right? So your response, the things that you do are often in response to what other people want, other people need. And what ends up happening is that since you are responding to what other people want and need, you don't know what you want, because we're just busy trying to fill whatever need it is that other people have. Now, over the last several years, we've all been going to therapy and hearing different messages and working through some of these things. But when it comes to business and figuring out your worth, what you feel about yourself and inherently what you were told about your role as a woman, you have to look a certain way, dress a certain way, wear your makeup and lipstick a certain way. There's all of these messages that we have internalized that at the moment of somebody asking you what your price is, you feel not worthy because you haven't checked off all those boxes. And so in that moment, you're like, I haven't checked off all these boxes, so I'm going to cut my price down half before you've even had a chance. You don't even let yourself get in the race. You're just like, I'm going to step myself out because I don't think I can do this. So the first thing is we have internal programming that we bring with us. The other thing that we bring with us is societal pressures, okay? Which is earlier, as I was saying, the work and the business need to be separate and never the twain shall meet, right? First is you don't want to be laughed at or rejected for whatever price it is you say. What if it's too high, okay? There's the don't think that you're so much better than everybody else, okay? That's like, don't get too big for your britches. That was my biggest thing. Oh my God, I cannot even tell you how many times my grandma, don't be too big for your britches, all right? Sit down, get in the corner. And that was the worst. And in my mind, I remember wearing my little onesie. It was like a little onesie thing. I must've been 3 or 4. And because they really look like britches, like the big diaper britches. And I just remember when I think of this now, I still think of myself in diapers as a 45-year-old woman. I'm like, don't get too big for your britches, Minessa. These people are long dead and we are bringing their stories with us into the present. The other one is don't think that you're better than anybody else. And this is especially true if you grew up working class or if you grew up money or food insecure like I did, where, we created this otherness of the people who had the money and the people who did the things. And then there was us. And you didn't want to go into that other space because then you were betraying your people, your group, your community, and you didn't want to be rejected from the only community that you knew, right? So you just adhered to whatever the societal norms are, which is not getting outside of your quote unquote station, right? The other ideologies, the other ideologies that we bring with us is talking about money is rude. Okay. This one is really big and we have to just cut it out. Cut it out. It is not, that is a false belief system that keeps everyone locked in the spaces that they're in. The societal pressure to not talk about making money is usually perpetrated by people who have money against people who don't have money. Okay. So the rich people who have tons and tons of money, they're always talking about money. They're talking about money with their accountants, with their friends, with their colleagues. They are constantly talking about money. And the fact that they are constantly talking about money makes it that they know more about it. They know more about spending it. There is less emotional connection to it because they've desensitized it. They have more of a practical understanding of the marketplace because they are not afraid to talk about these things. In order to maintain, I'm going to sound like a conspiracy theorist here, that's not my intention, but this is just how it is that in order to maintain the more people get more, less people get less, and none of this is, I do not believe any of this is intentional. This is how systems are, and now everybody is just playing their role in it. This is why I don't like the idea of this is the way it's always been. That's why this is the way we'll do it, is because it's too easy to fall into these habits where you do not talk to your colleagues about how much money you make. You do not find out that you have more experience and more expertise in a certain area, and you're getting paid less because you're a woman, because you're a person of color, because you are LGBTQ, whatever the reason is. You won't know that because you and your colleague, who is a white, able-bodied man, never had this conversation, right? And then that is often in your contract that says that you can't talk about it. I'm just going to tell you right off the bat, nobody can tell you what you can talk about with your peers. You can talk about whatever the heck you want with whoever you want. The only area you need to be mindful of is if you are a manager of somebody, you really do not want to be talking to your employees about each other's salaries or your own salary. So that's the important thing to keep in mind. But if you are two peers talking about your salary, that is really important, because otherwise there will be no equity, because everything is shrouded in secrecy, which is something else that is the way it is because it's always been that way. We need to really make our conversations about money more transparent and reject this idea that talking about money is rude, because the more you talk about money, the more empowered you're going to be. Now, the other thing about the ideologies is talking about our negative experiences in the past have conditioned us to supplicate when we ask for anything. So what I mean by that is that if you go in to ask for a raise, how does everybody go in to ask for a raise? The first thing they think about is, well, I have all these bills I need, cost of living, all that. That's one of the first things that we go through. And then eventually someone tells us, listen, your company, that's not their, they don't care about how much your bills are or whatnot. You need to tell them the value that you bring to the company and what it is that you do. So, okay, great. I understand this. So now I'm going to go into a meeting about my salary, and I'm going to talk about all the value that I bring to the company. And I'm automatically going in having to prove myself to this person, supplicating you for a handout to give me more of a raise, as opposed to the idea of, I am bringing so much value to this company. So let's flip this. Okay. As somebody who's been a manager and run a company, run many companies, had lots of people under me, those of you who have also been in that situation know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this. Is it is so much harder to replace someone than it is to simply give someone a raise. It is so much work to, you lose somebody, then you have to train somebody new. You have to find somebody new. You have to cover the vacancy while they're gone. It's a lot of work. People would rather not lose you. They would rather keep you. When you go into these meetings, you are not going in as a supplicant. You are going in as someone in a position of power. You just don't know it. And because you don't know it, you come at it from this space of weakness, because that's where you think that you are at. So it is important to recognize that these are things that exist around us, because otherwise you will not know how they are influencing you when you go to have conversations about money. Even if you're a business owner right now and you started out as, in corporate, you bring this with you. So like a lot of us are not in corporate anymore, but that doesn't mean that suddenly those ideas and thoughts have gone away. We bring them with us, right? So they have an impact on the framework and perspective. When someone asks you your prices, every single one of the things that I just said comes into your voice in your head in that exact moment. That is literally like, ding, like how painful is that, right? And now we're expected in that moment to also be confident and saying what our prices are. It's like, well, forget that. That's not happening, right? You are trying to do too many things at the same time, okay? What you're trying to do is in one moment, you are trying to decide your prices, figure out what you're going to say, determine what your response is going to be when they reject you, because in this moment, you've already decided that they're going to reject you. You want to get comfortable with the number and then say the price all without anxiety, and you're trying to do it in that one moment. That is so much pressure to put on your little body can't handle all that. None of our bodies can. Be kind to yourself, my friends. Okay. So what are your action items? Okay, we're going to go through your action items now that you can actually do these things. I'm going to send this PowerPoint after my acupuncture, or Liz on this afternoon, to Lisa, so that it can be shared with the group, and there are resources at the end for you. Okay, the first is step one is do one thing at a time. So we're going to plan a lot of these things in advance. You're going to get a lot of these things ready so that when the time comes for you to actually say your prices, demand your raise, or whatever it is, you've already done all of these things. And the only thing that you're actually doing when you talk to somebody is disseminating information that you've already been practicing in the past. So now you're only doing one thing. You're simply just saying your prices. Almost like if you ever did any school plays or anything like that, you learn the lines so much that when you actually say the words, it is truth, right? That's really what you're trying to do. You're trying to rehearse this so much and have it so in there that it is truth. Okay. So the first step is one thing at a time. The second step is for you to learn your market. Okay. There are specialty groups for everything. I know that Lisa's a member of a whole bunch of organizational groups because the organizer I had before was a member of the same ones, and I have a lot of organizers as clients. So I know you're in like 500 of them, right? There are specialty boutique groups and VA groups. If you're not a member of a specialty VA group, reach out to me. Or if you're a boutique owner, reach out to me. I know of groups that are specific for this particular industry that you can connect with. If you're a network marketer, I can connect you with a group specific for that. The reason why that's important is so that you can recognize what's happening within your industry. It is really critical, of course, for you to be part of networking groups like this, where you are getting a broad exposure to people and relationships and networking. But it's also important for you to have at least one area that you go in where you have your peers and colleagues who sell the same thing you do, so that you can use those to get feedback on your pricing, on your packages, on your products, on your marketing, and you can get comfortable talking about money with each other. Not hiding this thing. Okay, this is the one thing we have to get comfortable. So let's see if this is the one. We have to get comfortable talking about the money beforehand, so that you're not trying to get comfortable with it the first time that you're sharing it with somebody. Okay. We also have to believe that we are charging fairly in the market based on our experience, but we won't know that if we don't know what the market is and we're just kind of making up numbers in our head. Okay, so that's really important. Is just having that knowledge will make you feel secure. I charge $500 an hour for my coaching and $200 an hour for my corporate rate. I may or may not choose to discount that depending on who the person is, what it is that I'm doing, where I'm at. Heck, I could even give it away for free if I wanted to, but I know that this is my value. This is my rate. I'm not starting my rate at $125 an hour and then hoping someone will pay more. I'm starting at $500 and then I will choose if I go down. But the important thing to keep in mind is I know that that is the value of the transformation that I offer. What you pay is not about what it's worth, right? What you're paying is what I choose for you to pay based off of this. That's my choice. Okay. So learning your market is going to help you get really secure when you, and also if you're a candle maker, weirdly, I also have candle making connections. So if you're looking for a candle making group, I can help you with that too. Now, the next step after you have a step two, all right, I think I messed these up. Okay. Step three, sorry, we're going to step 3 and 4. Okay. Step 3 and 4. All right. Step 3. Is doing the internal work is really, really important. Barbara said this earlier on, and I'm going to reference her a little bit later, where she said, how you feel about what you offer is important. If you do not believe in what it is that you are offering, no one else will either. Okay. So you have to do the internal work first, to where you can say that I know that I offer this transformation. If you think that your transformation is not worth anything and that you can't do it, then you can't lower your prices enough to feel comfortable saying what it is, right? There's no way. You'll think even $5 is too much. You have to believe in what it is that you're offering, because once you do, then you will be able to say any number. It doesn't matter. You will be able to say any number that you want. You won't, $10,000, $5,000, $200. It doesn't matter, because you believe in the transformation that you offer. But that requires internal work. It requires therapy. It requires mindset work, meditation, journaling. This is the internal work that has to be done to be able to charge your worth. It doesn't matter if you have the number written down somewhere. If you don't do this work first, you're still going to find it getting caught when you start to say what your pricing is. Now, not knowing your target audience. There were a couple of people who said, Lynn said this, I think Deb said this, a few other people said this, where they were talking about how they're going to say what their price is, and if it doesn't work, then this person isn't right for them. someone else said that, oh my God, sorry, by fibromyalgia, but I have it written here. Not Eileen, it was Kathy. Kathy was talking about being the travel advisor and people being online, right? And being able to find free travel advisors. But right at that moment, you said, people don't realize in that moment when they're at the hotel, what's going to happen. And the key here is knowing your target audience and knowing their pain points is critical, because in order for you to charge what you're worth, you have to make your audience feel the worst they're ever going to feel related to your business right before you tell them that. So if you have somebody sitting on a plane in first class, and that's the moment where you decide to pitch them your paying travel advisory service, they're not going to hire you. But if you pitch them that when they're standing at a hotel crying because they didn't get their room, they're going to pay you whatever money it takes. So you have to set the stage in their mind to remind them of that painful feeling, because they're not going to remember. We have a human tendency to like block these things out. So if you're simply saying, listen, you need a travel advisor because I know those places are free, but you really don't want to do it yourself because it's a lot of work, that kind of tells me, sure, it tells me a little bit, but if you paint the picture of me being tragically left at a hotel, that's what I'm going to buy from you. So knowing your target audience and getting your messaging down is incredibly important. If you do not have your messaging, again, you're not going to be able to command the prices that you want, because you do not know how to demonstrate your value to other people. Because for a lot of us, we know what our value is in here, but we don't know how to share it outside so that other people know what it is. Okay. Step 4 is to rehearse. Okay. Now I want you to go back to when you were 14 and you had a crush on that person, right? And you're like rehearsing, okay, I'm going to call and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say that, and they're going to say this, and then I'm going to say this. And God, I have rehearsed so many phone calls with so many crushes that I never even made some of those phone calls. Do that again. We know that you have the skill because we were all 14-year-old girls at one point. So we all know that we have that skill. Okay. So you've developed it. You've just put it away in a box. Pull that out again, and now start to rehearse in front of a mirror. You're going to feel silly, but it was just as silly when you're rehearsing calling Mason. So be that silly again, right? Practice in front of a mirror. Practice just walking around the house. I will tell you, I spend most of my time walking around the house just rehearsing things. I'm just saying things out loud, trying them out, saying, I don't like this way. I don't like this word. I hate the way I said that. Who would say that? Oh, I love this. I need to write this down. You're never going to be able to think your way through these things. You have to talk your way out of it. And the only way to talk your way through it is to talk it, with people or out loud by yourself. That works as well. You can practice with your friends, do role playing. Hey, you know what? If you have a my coaching group or on my business page, you can even do it on the Stop Shitting All Over Yourself podcast. Just come in and just dump it there. The key is just get comfortable saying the numbers and the words. Okay. The last thing that I want to leave you with is the most powerful lesson about money that I have literally ever heard, ever. Okay. I want you to be the alpha in every money conversation. And now that I have said this, you will never forget it. That's the key. She said it, and I remember the lesson that I got from her. And this is the thing that I have taken with me my whole life. Be the alpha with money. Okay. You are not a person at a disadvantage asking for a favor. You are someone with valuable skills and experience offering something of value in return for money. Okay. People will try to bring emotion into it because that is how we are programmed. That's how it has always been. You do not have to play any game you don't want to play. They are welcome to bring any emotion into it you want. You don't have to do that, because here's what happens. One of the most powerful tools in the world is our own mind. If you can use someone else's mind to get the price that you want, right, then you've already gone halfway. Okay. So one of the more powerful psychological tools out there is anchoring. Okay. So I saw this happen. I've seen this happen several times because my husband sits right out there. He asked for a raise one time, right? And I remember the number he said for his raise. I think it was like 100 and something. And his boss laughed at him, literally laughed in his face. Okay. I'm sitting right here and this has happened a few times since then, but now I don't even think about, like, when he does, I'm like, oh, he's laughed. He's got him, because the guy laughs because he's shocked, but now he knows that Alex knows what he's worth. He knows what his value is. And watching him do that the first time, suddenly I said to him, I would never have done that. And we realized how different we are as men and as women. And so, because here's what happens when you put the high number out there, you have now anchored them to that number. So even if they were thinking, let's say the number they were thinking was 35. Okay. You go in and you say, I want 200. They laugh at your face. Now you've automatically anchored them at 200. So whatever amount you get is going to be way higher than that 35. Now you're probably already looking at over 100, 110 because they know they're going to have to meet, or you're not going to be a good fit. So when they laugh at you is when you know you have won in a salary negotiation, because at that point you're going to get what you need or it's not a good fit. The other thing is when you are talking to your customers, they're probably not going to laugh at you, but they are going to know that you understand what you're worth. And then they're going to come back with whatever their objection is. That's okay for them to have an objection. It's your job to set your price and maintain it. It's their job to push back. Like, that's what a customer is going to do, is try to push back to get it. It's fine. Don't consider that like I'm throwing the gauntlet and now we're going to have this big fight. It's really just this. You're going to ask for whatever, as much as you can. I'm going to try to push back. Your decision that you need to know beforehand is how much are you willing to give, if at all. You may not be willing to give it all. You may be willing to give a little bit. Whatever it is, know that in advance before you go into these conversations, so that whatever it is, you're not deciding it on the fly. You're already feeling comfortable because you've prepared in advance. And what that's going to do is make you feel powerful in the moment to where you feel comfortable being the alpha. Okay, so here are your next steps. All right, because I just dumped a lot of information on you. This was meant to be an overview of the idea of charging what you're worth. I wanted to just toss out these ideas, get the seeds planted, because you're going to be thinking about this for the next few days, few weeks. It's going to pop up at random times. When you are looking for more information about this, head over to my podcast, where I have an individual podcast recording on each and every one of these items that we talk about that breaks it out into a lot more detail, where you can also ask much more detailed questions if you'd like. I also want to encourage you to read The Common Denominator by Asha Aravindeshkam. And what's really great about that is it's going to help you to value your experience of life, which a lot of women tend not to do. We tend to discount every experience we have. Oh yeah, I did this, but it doesn't count. Oh yeah, I did this, but it doesn't count. Oh, for fuck's sake, people, it counts. It all counts. So this book will really help you to see what things count. But I would really also recommend checking out, messaging Barbara. Her Facebook link is here. Message her, because determining what you want is very, very hard and can be extremely challenging. And working through some of these mindset issues will be hard. So if you're looking specifically for money mindset help, I have a couple of money mindset coaches who can help. But if you're looking for life coaching or life coaching plus generalized, what do I want for my business, what do I want for money, just life coaching, I really want to recommend that you check out Barbara, because she can help you figure those things out. If you already know what you want and you're not sure how to demonstrate your value to your audience, Deb Goschel and Laura Willis are messaging artists, are messaging experts. Deb is the messaging artist. Laura is the Encore Revolution, and they will help you to create language that will allow you to share the magic that is inside you and what you know the value is. They'll help you translate that into language that actually makes sense to your audience, so that they understand the value that you offer, which for you, Kathy, and for people who are having similar issues to Kathy, where you're like, people are coming back and saying, well, I can get this for free, or I can get this cheaper. What that means is that your messaging needs work. And if your messaging needs work, then you want to check out Deb and Laura. Last but not least, guys, be the alpha with money. If you leave with nothing else today, I want you, from this day forth, I want you to just raise your right hand and just say it with me. I'm going to be the alpha with money.
Be the alpha with money.
Yes. All righty. Okay. Wow. There's so many chats. Okay. All righty. That is all I got.
Minessa, that was amazing. Thank you. I think there's so much to recap. I can't even, but I would start to say, first of all, thank you for sharing all of your skills and all of your knowledge with us. And that is the power of this group. It is the education and the sharing that you have done today, that we always welcome everyone to come and to share your expertise with the group. We are always looking for speakers for the organization to talk about this sort of thing, because when we know better, we do better. And sometimes it is that knowing who we are and standing in our own authenticity and being able to say, this is what I'm worth. I've literally fired a client yesterday, and it was simultaneously the hardest thing I've ever done and the best thing I have ever done, because it was not a good fit. And when I know what I want, I can let go of the scarcity and let that abundance flow in. So thank you, Minessa. Minessa is going to share this with us as the PDF. I will attach that. So please be on the lookout for this link. For anybody, I know there are a couple of people that had a hard time getting this link this morning. So please make sure you are checking your junk folder and whitelist our organization and all of the emails that are coming from the SSWBN so that you make sure that you're getting this. So you will receive, and even as I'm speaking, I'm saving the chat, folks, because
I was going to say, could you, because I want to go through, get all the questions, because there's a lot in there. I want to definitely respond. And I just sent you the handout, the PDF with all of the links to everything we talked about.
You are the best. Thank you. You will, once I get this thing up on YouTube, and that does take a little bit, you will receive a follow-up email. You will receive the PDF copy of all the fantastic information that Minessa shared with us this morning. You'll receive the link to the YouTube, and you will, I know I saved it, but I'm saving it again. Oh, see, Minessa, I'm not sure of myself. How awful is that? But I wanted to save it twice just to be on the safe side. And now you can also, I'll probably share it as well. Again, thank you all for joining us. We do have a focus chat coming up. Somebody had asked the question. The focus chat is Thursday, the 15th. It is a coffee. It will be at the Cravings Cafe. We're also going to do a morning meeting in August. We're going to go a little light. We know people are going to be taking a lot of vacations. Everybody's traveling again. Thank you to our travel agents out there. We're thrilled all to be traveling again these days. So thank you all for joining us. Please, if you would like to be a speaker, please reach out to myself or to Michelle Wardeman, who is our director. And I look forward. Thank you. Thank you for coming this morning. Great meeting. And I look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. This was
Bye,
great this
everyone.
morning.
Bye. Have a good day.
Bye.
Have a wonderful day, everyone.